Last Corla, Taoiseach, I find it appropriate today that to your left you're joining the front bench with the Minister for Health, the Minister for Justice and the Minister with responsibility for local government. Last night, prime times, I said I find it appropriate. Sorry, Minister, I'll repeat again. I'll start with time. I find it appropriate to join the Minister for Health, Justice and the Minister with responsibility for local government. Last night's prime time highlighted a plethora of complex issues related to O'Connell Street. It's already been raised, Minister, but do you not think that would be the starting point of a really good task force to address the issues that were raised? I think each of you have a responsibility. Health for the level of drug addiction and complex needs there. Justice, Minister, you said you've got to clean up the streets. That language is not going to be helpful. And local government, because the absence of it had led to a considerable breakdown in terms of what we see in dereliction on O'Connell Street. Could we have a task force with responsibility for us all? Because we all have a responsibility for O'Connell Street.
I heard you this morning, and the manner in which you dismissed your colleagues in Dublin City Council was beyond me. You did. You said they had no power; they were next to useless. You didn't use those words, no. But the impression I got from it was that
democracy.
No, yeah, that's what I think. That's fair. That's your view. I accept you have you have a right to a view. But I think we actually have to go back to Dublin City Council. I genuinely do. But to be fair, there are plans for O'Connell Street. I mentioned this earlier in terms of the Moore Street area and so on like that. Sorry?
Are you going to go back to Dublin City Council then?
The Taoiseach is encouraging the interaction. Taoiseach, if we could do it through the chair. Sorry now.
But through the chair.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I'll ask Corla. I'm just making the point that Dublin City Council has to be at the centre of O'Connell Street. There's no question, there's no avoiding that. And I just think that, one of the easiest things to put up is let's have a Taoiseach's task force. A lot of people are saying let's have a Taoiseach's task force about this, that and so on. At the core, and I take your point, the Minister for Justice has already made the point there's a community partnership already established involving all of the various local groups and so on to try and move on. The Minister for Housing, local government, has huge plans for rejuvenating, but there's loads of objections. Lots of objections to the development of O'Connell Street. But why don't we cut to the chase and say that? We just keep on objecting to everything that moves and then keep on condemning.
Show some leadership.
The dereliction.
Show some leadership.
Thank you. If we could have your cooperation.